Welcome to the Fabulous 413. I'm Khalees Smith.
And I'm Monty Belmonte.
And we're here now on Giving Tuesday to raise the money needed to pay for commercial-free news and information and entertainment programs you rely on. Your support right now means this station will continue to be here for everybody in our community. It's easy to make a difference at nepm.org or call 800-639-8850.
You have already suffered through the shameless capitalism of Black Friday, the benevolent capitalism of Shop Local Saturday, whatever Sunday is that I don't know, Cyber Monday.
Sunday
but
we rest.
Sunday
like
we
Jesus.
rest. And today is Giving Tuesday, where you can feel good about all of the stuff that you bought over the weekend to try to impress your friends and your children. Impress your friends and your children by supporting local nonprofit media from right here in your backyard in Springfield. And this hour only, there's a $1 match from Joanne and David from South Hadley. I don't even think I know them. So thank you, first of all, for putting up this $1 match. But if you give $120, it's just $10 a month. That $120 will turn into $240 and will help make our Giving Tuesday campaign a success.
It's a community-wide day of fundraising, giving you the opportunity to donate to nonprofits that touch your heart. Giving Tuesday. Please consider considering 885 NEPM in your generosity right now. Contribute $50 or maybe like $10 a month, and you'll do a lot of good. Western Mass will continue to enjoy a well-funded public radio station, and you could get a tax deduction, which is great.
Sure is. 800-639-8850 or nepm.org. Coming up later this week on the Fabulous 413, we're doing a lot of stuff about trees. We're doing
much about trees.
Christmas trees tomorrow. We're doing a Big Brothers, Big Sisters
Also tomorrow.
tree event tomorrow. We're going to talk to Forestopia later in the week. We've also got Mr. Drag at the big holiday show. Those are the kind of weird and wonderful conversations.
We're talking to some queer rock artists coming to 10 Forward for their album release on Friday.
Yeah, we're trying to bring you the interesting stories from where you live. Support the public radio station from where you live. NEPM, 800-639-8850 or nepm.org. And do not forget about that $1 match that is going on this hour from Joanne and David from South Hadley.
Oh, indeed. Don't forget to get your gift match $1. Joanne and David from South Hadley will donate an extra $1 for every $1 you give. Sustaining gifts, one-time gifts, all welcome. Every little bit lifts this boat. So this is the best time to support NEPM so you can pay for twice as much of the Fabulous 413 or any of the other programs we have coming down the pipeline.
The fabulous 826.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
If you donate $413, then it's 826.
We can do the Fabulous 978 for those 4 towns in Franklin County that don't have our area code.
There we go. 800. That's a lot of numbers in a row. But here's some more. 800-639-8850 or nepm.org. Now, on with the show.
Hooray.
Western Mass, the 413. I'm coming home. I'm coming to do stand-up at the MGM Casino in Springfield December 1st and 2nd. It's called Bill Does the Talent Show. Because when I was in high school and middle school, I was too scared to do stand-up at my talent show, and this is a chance for me to redeem myself. So whether you know me or you don't, come see me perform in front of people I had crushes on, my family who's never seen me perform, bullies who picked on me, and teachers who said I wasn't going to amount to nothing because I was just a class clown. And I have amazing people from Western Mass performing with me. So come support the show. And if you come, make sure you bring me a slice from Red Rose. You heard?
I just want to say that Red Rose is across the street from where you're performing, so you can go, or have somebody bring you one right before you get on stage. But Bill Does the Talent Show is this Friday, December 1st, and Saturday, December 2nd at 8 p.m. at the Armory at MGM Springfield.
And it stars Springfield's own Bill Posley, writer for major Netflix and Apple series, comedian, returning to his home, Springfield, and creating a documentary as we speak.
Yes.
In the studio with
There's a lot
us.
of extra lights.
The talent show project. Yeah, the red lights are gleaming off of my bald pate. Bill Posley, who joins us in the studio, did you not recognize that was your own voice when that clip started at the beginning of the show? Because you looked mortified all of a sudden.
No, I was like, yo, whoever they hired to do this sounds just like me. And then it took such a long time for me to realize that it was me. And I felt so stupid and embarrassed.
No. There's a lot going on, and it's okay to forget sometimes.
Yeah. I was lost in it. So thank you guys so much for having me on the show. To be on Springfield Public Access is like I made it in a lot of ways.
Yes. You're on double Springfield Public Access right now because of the documentary crew and public radio that you're on right now as well. And Bill, you tell us about when you lived in Springfield.
Yeah, so I grew up in Springfield. I went to school in Indian Orchard at St. Matthew's. Then I went to school out in Wilbraham at Minnechaug. So pretty much until I was 18 years old, I lived here. And Springfield is, when I was growing up, I didn't realize how much Springfield meant to me until I left. I was like, I got to get out of here. I got to see the world, okay? I'm tired because, Springfield's a blue-collar town, especially it was when I grew up. So there wasn't like much by way of arts, and there wasn't all these places that I felt like I could have artistic outlet back then. And so I was like, I want to go like perform, and I want to go do all these things. And so I left, and then since coming back, I realized that there is a community here, and there are a community of great, talented artists here. And so that's part of the reason I came back. Yes, it was to redo the talent show, but it was also to highlight some of the people who are doing amazing things in the city and to show how much the city has grown since I've left.
Talk about redoing the talent show. It's mentioned in the clip here, but there was a talent show that you could have done when you were here before that you are now trying to relive.
Or perhaps several.
Yes. So when I was in middle school and in high school, I had opportunities to do talent shows, right? I love comedy so much. I love stand-up so much. I want to do the talent show, and it was so sad. The closest I ever got was I was a tech at a talent show. And so I watched everybody else do the talent show, to include my brother. I watched him do the talent show, and I still did not have the courage to do it because I was afraid of social ridicule. I was like overweight, and I was short, and I was like, it was already hard enough to navigate these streets. It was hard enough, and so I didn't want to add any insult to injury. And so since I've left, I gained courage and I gained confidence. So you know what? I was like, I'm going to come back. I'm going to do the talent show again. So in order to do that, I had to create a talent show. So I invited other performers from Western Mass to come out. I've invited all the people I went to high school with, friends, family, and I'm finally going to do the talent show in front of them. People I served with in the military are coming who have never seen me perform. So it's going to be crazy.
Talk about actually curating the people who are going to be on stage. Like, who made the final cut for who we'll see this weekend?
Yes. So what I really wanted to focus on is I wanted to focus on people who never had their shot. Never took their chance when it came to performing, or felt like they didn't have an opportunity to do that. So whether it's Sarah in her band Kismet, which is her and her husband, Zach, they're going to come out. She is a physical therapist who is a mother of two and is constantly working and giving back to her community. And, she does this. She performs at breweries around town and still pursues her passion in her career and her art, and while having all these other things to do. And Diana, she had a chance to, go off to college for acting, whether it was NYU or Juilliard. She applied to all these places, but wound up not going because of a relationship that she was in. And she ended up getting stuck and having to pass on her dream. So she's getting a chance to come up and do this again. And then a comedian, Maverick Prasad, who stepped away from his career as a doctor, basically, to come out and do stand-up because he had a passion for it. So all of these people are getting their chance in the spotlight and to show what they can do and all the great things that Springfield has to offer as far as talent is concerned.
I don't know if I want a doctor named Maverick anyway,
right.
to be honest with you. I kind of want a doctor that's going to go by the book.
That's not what Andrew Lamb said.
We're speaking with Bill Posley, who's from Springfield, who has become a success despite missing your talent show when you were growing up here. Your resume, your IMDb, Internet Movie Database, is stacked. You're a writer for shows like Cobra Kai, which I'm totally in love with, Shrinking, which is great, Keenan. You're writing a spinoff to Ferris Bueller's Day Off. You've been on Glow on Netflix and MacGyver. You were on Survivor.
Yes, anything that rhymes is success.
Let's hear a quick clip of your stand-up. This comes from KTLA TV in Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah. I just want to give a shout out to all of my baristas who have to make coffee in the morning. I used to be a barista, and it is literally the hardest job in the entire world. And I'm a veteran. I've been to war, okay? And I would do that again before I worked at Starbucks. Because The Taliban pales in comparison to a middle-aged white woman at 5 o'clock in the morning who hasn't had her coffee yet. Has anyone ever seen this person? They come in with a fury, right? They kick the door open. They're like, it's too hot in here. It's too cold in here. Last time you made my drink, there wasn't soy in it. Is that soy? Prove it. Show me the box. 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 Sorry, I just haven't had my coffee yet. Well, I had it up to here, and I was like, oh, really? Because I didn't know that caffeine cured being a Karen. And I was immediately fired. But thank your baristas and tip them this morning. Thank you guys very much.
That's from KTLA TV. That was the cleaner version of the joke.
That is definitely the cleanest version of that joke.
Would
Yes.
go over better with the public radio audience that we're listening to right here. Although our Betsy is standing by the dump button, but please don't swear, Bill Posley. You do mention in that clip that you went to war, and it's a kind of a far cry from all the laughing and jokes that we've done right now to talk about that. But tell me about that journey from being afraid to perform in your Springfield area talent show to having to go to actual war, and then the confidence that you have now to be doing all these amazing things we've heard about so far.
Yeah, I mean, they're actually going to war is the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing today. I oddly enough, when I got sent to Iraq, I got stationed with men and women who are my family still to this day, and while we were there, as you can imagine, there is a lot to be sad about. And one of the things that I did, because I was still young, I was 18, 19 years old, and while I was there, I would impersonate other soldiers. I would impersonate my commanding officers. I would do all these around the bonfire at night when we would all be hanging out. And so I would just, joke around and make people laugh. And so I remember we had a comedian come in to entertain the troops, and he didn't do it for us. He was not funny. And so my Sergeant Edgar Romero, who was kind of like a father figure to me while I was there, pulled me aside, and he was like, I don't know what you're doing with the rest of your life, but I think you're funnier than that guy, and you should do that.
Wow.
And it gave me the courage to get on stage when I moved to Los Angeles, and that and 3 martinis gave me the courage to get on stage and do stand-up for the first time. And I fell in love with it, and I've not stopped ever since.
Courage comes in many forms.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
How does it feel different? What are the different feelings between writing something or bringing together a show like this, like Bill does a talent show, as opposed to like your scripted show, like I'm going to get the title of Becoming Black, and your movie, like. How does it feel differently between working in those mediums?
Well, I think, and
your stand-up, because it's a whole different thing there, too.
Yeah, when you're in a writer's room or you're anytime you're doing something that's scripted or filmed, you put all your love and energy and work into it, but you don't get a response. It takes years. It takes years sometimes, or a year at least, for it to ever come out or be seen, or to know if it was funny or if all the pieces came together. When you're doing a live show, it's immediate. You know the moment that you put it up, whether it works or it doesn't work. And that's what's so unique about it. And I think that's also why I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love writing movies. I love writing on television. But sometimes you do it and then you forget about it because you have to go through filming and editing and then release dates and stuff like that. But man, when you write something and you get on stage, it's funny now or it's never. And so it's like a heavyweight fight with the audience. Anybody who's ever performed on stage, whether it's musically or comedy or even public speaking, it's right then and there, if it's working or if it's not working, and there's no better feeling when you get it right.
We're speaking with Bill Posley, who Friday and Saturday, December 1st and 2nd, 8 o'clock at the Armory and MGM in Springfield, is going to be bringing the talent show that he never did as a kid when he was in Springfield, back here, after gaining all these accolades as a performer on Upright Citizens Brigade and at Second City, and as a writer for shows like Cobra Kai. Did you write the forthcoming last season of Cobra Kai?
No, I have not. No, I did not.
Okay.
I was
Because I was
going
going
to
to ask you for all the Daniel LaRusso spoilers. But
Oh, no.
now we know he lives because he's making a Karate Kid movie with Jackie Chan that they're casting for that I just saw details about over the weekend. So
Yes, they are.
that's a big deal, I think. But you were also on Survivor,
Yes.
which I know is a hugely popular show. And tell me about your experience on Survivor. I'm assuming that's after you were in the military,
Yes.
where you are literally trained to do these things and did do them with the military in combat situations. What's the transition like going from actual military combat things to a television mock-up, fake reality show version of a similar dangerous scenario without the threat of actual death, hopefully?
Survivor was amazing. Survivor came at a time in my life where I needed it. You know what I mean? I was in LA and I was trying to figure everything out, and I was a struggling comedian and actor and artist and all that stuff. And at that particular time, I was like, sleeping on couches and all this stuff, and trying to figure out my life and get it all together. And one day I was out walking my now ex-girlfriend's dog because she was dealing with her own drama, and a car pulled over and was like, hey, a woman gets out and goes, have you ever thought about being on Survivor? And I was like, no. And she was like, why? I'm like, cause I take my career very seriously and I don't want to be a reality TV show star. I think it'll ruin my career. And then she asked the best question you could ask a person in my situation. She goes, really, how's your career going right now? And I was just like, oh, it hurts. So I said, give me your card. You know what? And then I'll give it a shot. And then a month later, I was in Fiji, and I don't know what else to say. I was so blessed to have been on that show because it allowed me to get my life together in a way that I hadn't before. Coming back from Iraq, I was dealing with a lot of PTSD, and I was dealing with a lot of acclimating issues, and I couldn't slow my mind down enough to really focus on the things I really, really wanted to do. And Survivor provided me that opportunity, and because they did that, when I came back from Survivor, it changed my whole life. I committed to my career in a way that I had never had before, and I really do credit it for the career and the person that I am today.
I feel like she would have had an easier pitch going, would you like to go to Fiji? And
I know.
you probably would have gone,
Also,
yeah.
to just random people roll up on you in L.A. and be like, hey, do you want to go on a television show that everyone in the nation's
Guys,
going to watch?
that's all L.A. is. If you just fly to L.A., everyone's going to offer you a TV show. We'd love to have you. Come on out.
Doesn't happen in Springfield.
It's that quick.
Wrong
It's
town.
that fast. Yeah.
Speaking of Springfield, your dad was a Springfield firefighter?
Oh, yeah. My dad was a Springfield firefighter and my harshest critic.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And they have never seen you perform, right? Is this true?
Right.
are they coming?
So, unfortunately, this is the irony of my life. My parents passed away.
Oh, sorry to
So-
hear that.
Thank you very much. But, of course they did. When I can come back and show what I can do. Of course they did. So, yes, growing up, my dad was like, I showed him a video of the show, of a show that I did a while back. He watched like 5 minutes of it. I'm sitting on the couch, and I'm just like waiting for him to say anything. And he turns 5 minutes into the video, looks at me and goes, people like this? And I go, well, yeah, it's it's doing well. It's gotten picked up, and he's like, okay, good, because I wouldn't want you to be embarrassed up there. And I was like, okay, last time you see we don't have to see anymore. Last time you see anything, but now, because what he needed people to say I was funny, to see that I was funny, and now I have an opportunity for people to see it, and for people to say it, and for him to see it, and of course he's not here. You win, Dad. You win.
Is your brother that did the actual talent show going to be there?
No.
Ah, dang it.
It's never. I can't win. But my cousins and my friends are going to all be there to support me, and so that's really what matters the most, is that they're all going to be there to help me out and show me love and hopefully have my back. And I do have one cousin who is coming, who has said on numerous occasions that I'm not funny. So she's my dad reincarnated.
Oh, She's your North Star because everybody, especially Black families, have like that one relative. It's just like if I know I got you, then I'm good.
Yeah. She's become the matriarch of the family.
Yeah.
And because of that, it's like she's like the godmother. You know what I mean? Where you have to kiss the ring, and when she approves it, you're good then.
So are you working for an audience of one then this weekend?
Really, I am working for an audience of one, and
We all are like innocent bystanders.
Yeah.
and I'm gonna break her. I'm gonna bring her on stage. She doesn't know this because I know she doesn't know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna break her and make her laugh on stage because I'm gonna bring her up. She hates it. I'm gonna do it, and then that's how you you have to like tame the animal before, and then you can pet its stomach. That's what I'm gonna do.
Wow. Sounds like it's going to be an exciting show.
Yes, it is.
Bill Posley, who has returned to his hometown of Springfield for a documentary and a talent show project where he will relive maybe perhaps some of the mistakes of his past and overcome them at MGM's Armory in Springfield this Friday and Saturday, December 1st and 2nd at 8 o'clock. Do you want to hang out with us while we pitch and while we talk about something else excellent that's going on
Absolutely.
in Springfield?
Fantastic.
I think that's a good idea. Up next, we'll speak with Tim Monson and Chris Marion of Urban Food Brood, all about their collective on Gasoline Alley and their upcoming Kringle Market.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on NEPM.
And it's Giving Tuesday.
Oh, hey.
800-639-8850 is the number to call if you're feeling particularly generous this holiday season. We know how generous you were last week for other organizations like the Food Bank. We're going to hear about some organizations that are important to our listeners of the Fabulous 413. But listener contributions are NEPM's largest source of income. Your support pays for the programs like this one, which maybe you like to listen to, and other ones like Fresh Air, which you definitely like to listen to. Also for our stream and our website. And on this day of generosity, we'd love you to make a contribution. Go to nepm.org or call 800-639-8850.
You can double the buying power of your contribution for the next couple of hours thanks to Joanne and David from South Hadley. Give $10 a month and they donate the annual value of $120 to NEPM. Give $15 a month and it turns into $363 to pay for us, the Fabulous 413, and Fresh Air, and all of those other programs that you love, like Wait, Don't Tell Me, and more. One-time gifts are also matched. The dollar-for-dollar match is only for a short time, only until I think about 6 o'clock, 6:30, so not too long.
I thought it was only for our hour.
Oh, is it only for our hour?
I don't know. Let's pretend that
Let's
it
pretend
is.
it's
How
only
about
for our
that?
hour.
It's only for our hour. Betsy's shaking her head. 800-639-8850.
They really like us. You got to get this done by 4.
Yeah, so get a move on there, folks. And we're really grateful for all the people that have contributed so far, like Kenneth and Alyssa and John and David and Stephen and Michael and Alyssa, twice, and Robert and Mark. And there is, for a limited time, a subscription to the digital version of the New York Times. So not only do you get your news and information from your backyard here at NEPM, you can get news and information from New York City and the globe with the New York Times. A contribution of $10 a month will get you that 12-month subscription to the New York Times. 800-639-8850 or nepm.org.
On this National Day of Philanthropy, you can build a fully funded public radio station. Fully funded means your community will have access to thorough, unbiased news reporting from NPR and 88.5 NEPM's newsroom. To donate, go to nepm.org or call 1-800-639-8850.
And until 4 o'clock, for a mere 30 minutes more, there is a dollar-for-dollar match from Joanne and David from South Hadley. If you give $1 billion right now at 800-639-8850, it'll turn into $2 billion. If you have $1 billion to give, we would really appreciate it. But
if
you
you have $1 billion to give, you can end this fundraiser right now.
If you give $1 billion now, we will not talk about it anymore, I promise. But even if you give $1, or you give $5, or $10 a month, all of that will be doubled up until 4 o'clock by Joanne and David from South Hadley. Asterisk, they aren't going to give an extra $1 billion if you give $1 billion.
No, but if you have $1 billion to give, we would sure appreciate it. And every little bit really does help.
800-639-8850 or nepm.org. And back to the show.
Welcome back to the Fabulous 413. This Sunday, December 3rd from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Gasoline Alley in Springfield is rolling out its third annual Kringle Market. This year, the entire alley is joining the festivities.
Alongside the Kringle Market vendors, new businesses have set up shop on Gasoline Alley and are eager to introduce themselves. At the heart of the Kringle Market is the commitment to celebrating and uplifting local small businesses, like on Small Business Saturday, which just went by.
And joining us from the Urban Food Brood and Gasoline Alley are Chris Marion of Chris Marion Photography and Tim Monson of Monsoon Roastery, who I enjoy all the time because they're around the corner from my house.
Hey, thanks for having us.
No problem. Thanks for joining us.
Khalees and I are coffee addicts.
Yeah, it's
and
real bad.
We ran out of coffee one day, and she showed up with these jars that are now spread out before us. I didn't know what they were. I didn't know whether they were fireworks or what have you. They are gorgeous metal canisters of coffee, unlike anything I've ever seen. So, Tim, talk to us about the design of Monsoon coffee before we get launched into the Kringle Market and all that stuff.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having us. I'm glad you like our cans. We spent, Andrea and I, who's not here today, my better half, my business partner, she runs everything creative that we do. So she's mostly behind what happens on these cans. We spent about a year trying to find a package that was more sustainable than a bag, something that wouldn't go into a landfill or we tried composting packages, but they wouldn't break down in our own compost, right? So we tried to find something more sustainable, and we landed on tin. A tin, when you recycle it, turns back into a tin again in about 6 weeks. It only loses 1% of its original mass. So when you get a can of our coffee and you recycle it, it turns back into a can almost 100 times before it's used up. So for us, it's the most sustainable package that we can use. It's a little bit different. It's a little wonky. Not everybody's used to it. But we think it's a better way to be serving our product every day.
I have a question about Gasoline Alley itself. So I know that the Urban Food Brood is in one of the buildings, but it looks, when you drive down Albany Street, like there's 3 buildings that are kind of part of the collective. Is that true?
I think 3 is the right number.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
I just matched the signage, basically, and I'm like, I think this is part of it.
And that's Chris Marion, who's a photographer there in Gasoline Alley.
That's right. So I am in the upper building at 270. That's where my studio is, and that's the building where Monsoon began. So if you're a lifer with Monsoon, they were in 2 different spots in that building, and now they've moved next door, and I can view them and admire them from afar.
And I can see you from where I sit and roast all day long.
That's right.
Chris is taking pictures of you, so he's got the camera.
And I'm just gazing through the window, staring at him. Yeah.
It's really it's serendipitous. It's beautiful.
It's a wonderful place that we call a bohemian oasis in the middle of an industrial alley.
Seriously.
Right. And I was going to say what Bill had said about leaving the 413, leaving Springfield, and then coming back and realizing and seeing all the art and the artisans and the culture that has sort of propagated, right, since he was gone. I feel like that's what really drew me to Gasoline Alley. Mm-hmm. I mean, my studio is fairly new. It's really not even a year old there. But the culture and just the vibe, and I think that the Monsons from Monsoon are a big part of that. But really, everyone else there, all the other member businesses on campus, as I call it, are all just, on that campus, that 3-building campus, we're all pulling in the same direction. And I feel like, the vibe that Bill was dropping down there earlier about coming back and seeing this arts, mecca sort of growing from the roots is I'd like to think Gasoline Alley has a part of that.
It sure does.
Yeah,
Chris, where did you come from to Gasoline Alley? Where did you leave to then turn it into your base of operation? We heard Bill left the 413, went to L.A.,
That's
gets
right.
scooped up by Survivor on the street. But now he's back in Springfield, so maybe,
Well, it's funny. I have been an editorial and sports photographer. This is really my first real studio. I had sort of a starter studio before, but this is my first real studio. So prior to that has been travel, regionally, local work, etc. I don't know if that answers your question.
You didn't name one specific place.
I didn't.
Where are you from?
Well, I grew up in Springfield,
Oh, okay.
Massachusetts, right here in the 413.
So
I'm a 413 kid, right? went to public schools here, and have really just, I've worked locally, and I've worked for the newspaper. I've worked for Spirit of Springfield and MGM, and a lot of the local wonderful companies, but also a lot of national work as well. And it wasn't quite a survivor story, but one of my biggest clients is the NBA Entertainment, and the WNBA, and that happened because of Springfield.
Right. Basketball City.
So it's not quite the same. I didn't get to go to Fiji quite yet. I've been to other cities across the globe, but not Fiji. But,
That's Chris Marion, who's a photographer on Gasoline Alley, who are celebrating their Kringle Market this weekend.
Before we get to the Kringle Market, it feels like the building that Monsoon is currently in only really opened like earlier this year. You guys have been working on that building for a long time.
Well, so Monsoon moved over there in late in 2018. We opened in the city January 1st of 2018. We were down on Main Street in the old Bertera Skolnick building. Now it's the Monkey Wrench building. What a wild place. If you're an entrepreneur, that's a great place to start.
Nice.
So within our first few months of being open, we realized we need a bigger place for production, somewhere we could have people come to that wasn't the third floor of a warehouse building. And we ended up coming to Gasoline Alley. At the time, the only other people that were there were a hair salon and an urban farm, which they were growing mushrooms and microgreens and all these really wild things inside of a warehouse. I've never seen so much green with so little windows. And so we came there and opened in January 1st of 2019. And we've been building there ever since. We've slowly expanded ourselves there. And over the last 3 years, we worked with 7 other businesses to build the Urban Food Brewed Collaborative there. And along the way, other people have moved in, like Chris Marion and Gifted Tones, which is in the warehouse below us, and a whole bunch of other crazy creatives, street level MMA, all kinds of things. So we started with just a couple people on the campus, and it kind of blossomed into this beautiful community that is amazing. It makes me want to cry when I think about it, because it's just a wonderful collective of people that have just come around us, and we all support each other.
The first time we heard about it was talking with Vincent Corsello, who is moving into the building for Corsello Butcheria. Butcheria, not a real Italian word.
No, it's in Sanglish. I will accept it. It's a wonderful butcher shop that has East Hampton already going strong and now coming to Gasoline Alley. And we're speaking with Tim Monson from Monsoon Roastery and Chris Marion, who's a photographer on Gasoline Alley, and we'll be celebrating their Kringle Market this Sunday. Before we get into some of the details of the market and what to expect from that, anybody know why it's called Gasoline Alley? Can tell that story?
Well, we
Bill Posley, who grew up in in Springfield. No.
There's actually a really great article on the wall in in the restroom, 270. I have only read the
I
first.
always believe what I read on restroom walls.
Well, same. I've only read the first 3 paragraphs because I've only been there a year.
You're not hydrating well enough. Then.
No, you're right. You're right. It's the caffeine. Let's not. Well, Gasoline Alley, again, as Tim kind of alluded to, it's an industrial street. It was where the gasoline literally came into Springfield on trains, et cetera, and there are still a number of tanks and businesses there.
And before gasoline, it was kerosene.
See, there you go.
So it's been an industrial place for, I think, over 100 years.
So we're really honestly, we feel like we're a real oasis, not just in Springfield, but in the 413. But it's even more pronounced when you're driving up a street, and it's just urban, very, very urban stuff, or industrial stuff. And then there we are, the bright, colorful buildings, and just all those things that are.
It's like
happening.
when Bert and Ernie sing, "One of these things is not like the other." You drive up the street, and all of a sudden you're like, "Whoa, what is this doing here? I don't feel like this should be here."
Right.
But we are.
But this reclaiming of industrial spaces is something that's amazing, and I think we do it really well in the 413 and all sorts of different communities, including on the little community of Gasoline Alley.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I mean, we have the mills, all over the place, which have been turned into wonderful things up and down, the valley. My studio is a garage, was an old single-bay commercial garage, 16-foot ceilings, which photographers absolutely love. You know, I mean, that's just a big deal, and it's a phenomenal. I love the space, and I've tried to keep the charm of that, and sort of still make it a pretty place to be and a comfortable place to be.
Yeah, we created the Food Brood out of a 4,000 square foot office space. So outlying offices and a cube farm in the middle, as I like to call it, a cubicle farm where everybody's just there working. That wasn't rented out. It wasn't leased. It wasn't filled, right? So we had to build the infrastructure. We brought in plumbing and electrical and all kinds of things, and we turned it into a full cafe and food manufacturing space, right?
You transformed it, man.
Seriously,
don't undersell it. I mean, I walk in there as a photographer. I walk in there and I'm like a kid. Actually, literally in a candy store because
they have candy there.
Yes.
Happy Freeze Dry Man is part of the Food Brood, and he's always making these.
He's an insane genius.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even want to get into it.
The Willy Wonka of Springfield.
He really is.
He freeze dries Skittles, and I don't know why, but I'm really happy about it.
I can tell you why, I'll tell you why I love them so much is that I love the flavor of Skittles. Always have. Never liked the consistency and the chew and the freeze drying of it. They almost melt in your mouth now.
So you can taste the rainbow of fruit flavor without having to chew the rainbow
right.
of fruit flavor.
And you're no dental visits. Well, maybe not no. I'm not a dentist, so I can't say that legally. But yeah.
I have a question before we start talking again about the Kringle Market, is about the Monsoon coffee, which Betsy reminds us is an underwriter of NEPM, as is Corsella Butcheria, which are all part of this Gasoline Alley and the Urban Food Brood. Tell us about where you're sourcing the coffee from, how you're roasting the coffee, and because as I mentioned, Khalees and I are obsessed with coffee. Khalees will once a day basically say, "Should I make more coffee?" And I exclaim with joy every time.
Woohoo! Yeah!
Nice.
Of course you should.
I love it. So we source our coffee from all around the world. It really depends what time of year it is. We source on a seasonal basis. So every 3 or 4 months or so, our product line switches up. Depending on where coffee is being harvested during that time of the year. You know, it takes about 10 months from coffee to go from the flower to the fruit that they harvest. It takes another month to process it and get it ready for export, and then another 1 to 2 months before it gets stateside and gets to somebody like me. So there's a whole long process of farmers doing so much work for a whole year before I even get to experience it. And so what my job is as a coffee roaster is to try to find the best coffees I can from around the world. So for any one of the coffees we have right now, I probably would have tasted 10 or 20 different coffees. Some of them could have been from the same farmer on a different side of the hill, right?
Wow.
Terroir. But it really is. There's as much terroir as there is in wine. And so I'm really passionate about finding just the best coffees from around the world that we can and presenting it in the best way that does justice to the farmers that grew it, because they do all the hard work.
There.
That's Tim Monson of Monsoon Roastery, as well as Chris Marion from Chris Marion Photography, who are part of Gasoline Alley, who will be hosting their Kringle Market this Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We've got the Urban Food Brood, which we heard a little bit about. More of those food vendors going to be part of this Kringle Market that we haven't heard about yet?
We got a really awesome lineup. So the whole Urban Food Brood gang is going to be there. If you don't know about the Urban Food Brood, it's a food manufacturing collective that we have up at Gasoline Alley. We have a cafe in the middle and 7 other supporting businesses on the outside that all produce the best things they can to be sold right in the cafe at the Food Brood, right? So, of course, we'll be here slinging coffees all day. Nosh is going to be there putting out some soups and some sandwiches. Corsella Butcheria is going to be grilling some awesome meats and sausages and selling kinds of crazy things. Happy Man Freeze Dried has all kinds of products. Wicked Wisp plant-based creations will be there with her trailer. It's really wild. She does the most amazing Pop-Tarts and plant-based ding-dongs and devil dogs.
I want a plant-based ding-dong.
It's the most amazing thing. It looks like what you got in your lunch, right, when you were going to school.
Yeah,
so cool.
Because that was acceptable in the 80s.
But it's absolutely amazing. It blows your mind, right? Raka Daka will be there. It's another vegan baker we have. And then a lot of different offerings from Urban Artisan Farm. He's got pretty much everything you need to take home and stock your pantry up. And aside from that, for the Kringle Market, we're going to have over 30 artisans and makers that are there, beer and wine, and a whole long list of entertainment and awesome things.
Cool. This is your third one. How has it grown from the first time you did it?
It's grown a lot. So the first year we put it on, I think we had 400, maybe 500 people come, and it wasn't quite as robust as we have now. It was a little more ragtag because we'd never done it before. Last year we had a little bit over 800 guests attend over the course of the day, and we actually took some metrics, and we actually, from that one event between all the vendors, it created over $30,000 in revenue between all the businesses for the day. So that's $30,000 that people spent on gifts, but it's also $30,000 that stays in our local community with the life cycle of $1, right? So
Right.
It's a lot of support that helps all these little businesses, including ours. All of us there, 99% of the businesses in the U.S. are small businesses.
We can't give you a direct initiative, a call to action on public radio
Right.
to shop local. That violates our license. We can give you a call to action to support public radio, which is ironic. However, if you were looking for some local gifts, this Kringle Market happening this Sunday at Gasoline Alley in Springfield, Sunday from 10 to 4 is a wonderful opportunity. Chris Marion from Chris Marion Photography, who's part of Gasoline Alley, and Tim Monson from Monsoon Roastery. I can't wait to drink more of your coffee. Thank you so much for coming in and telling us about the scene at Gasoline Alley and the wonderful
Monty,
Kringle
thank you.
Market.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, our pleasure.
Up next, we're about to once again ask you to support us here on the Fabulous 413 and NEPM this Giving Tuesday.
But we also want to hear what other organizations are important to you on this globally coordinated day of giving. You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM. Oh, I was paying attention.
That's all right.
It's Giving Tuesday, everybody. You
Yes,
should
it
give
is.
to us here at NEPM so that we can continue to give you all of the shows that you enjoy.
Like the Fabulous 413.
Like the Fabulous
like
413.
Morning Edition. Like All Things Considered. Like Jazz a la Mode with our new jazz host, Avery Sharp, on Friday evenings. 800-639-8850 or nepm.org is the number to give on this Giving Tuesday. And you have 12 minutes left to see how much money Joanne and David from South Hadley will match this hour only. If you make a $10 contribution, it'll turn into $20. If you make a $10 contribution a month, it'll turn into $240, but only for the next now 11 minutes at 800-639-8850.
There's so many Western Mass stories that we have to tell, including like our entire week and basically month-long focus on hunger that we've just done, culminating in the March for the Food Bank, those 2 days of walking 43 miles from Springfield to Greenfield, Herculean effort that happens every year. But all of those stories and the people that we got to talk to along the way, including people at the actual food bank, people at food pantries across Western Mass, and folks trying to change policy, that's all made possible by you and your donations to NEPM by heading over to nepm.org or calling 800-639-8850.
Or, hearing the stories about a quirky little neighborhood in Springfield that's popping up and doing all sorts of wonderful artistic things. Or an artist who didn't know he was an artist, was too afraid to be an artist, and left Springfield, went to the military, went on Survivor, and is coming back for a talent show.
Hometown kids doing good.
Yeah, 800-639-8850. Become a new member today on this Giving Tuesday, 800-639-8850 or nepm.org.
You can double the buying power of your contribution for the next, 11-ish minutes. Thanks to Joanne and David from South Hadley. Give $10 a month. They donate the annual value of $120 to NEPM. Give as much as you're able, and they will double it. $500, $1,000. That would be amazing and would help to keep our program, the Fabulous 413, all these new programs that we're developing, things that you love like Wait, Don't Tell Me and Fresh Air and On Point. So many good programs that we have here on NEPM that you can support by heading over to nepm.org or 800-639-8850.
And now back to the show.
How dare you?
I'm rickrolling you because
No.
never
Why?
going to give you up
Oh, my God.
on this Giving Tuesday. All of these songs today have been giving songs. It's the Fabulous 413. I'm Monty Belmonte.
And I am Khalees Smith.
And it is Giving Tuesday, and we have been asking you to give to your favorite nonprofit public radio station. Us, we hope. But we put out a call to listeners to see what other organizations they're supporting this Giving Tuesday, and we got this call.
Hello, Fab 413. You had asked for nominations of great local organizations, and I sent you an email so I could include the cool info about this group. Greening Greenfield is my nomination. My name is Amy, and Greening Greenfield is involved in expanding housing, helping with hands-on programs in public schools, promoting public transport, beautifying and enhancing the community, and really with a great focus on native habitat, offering workshops about Mass Save's new programs, and celebrating the completion of the skate park after a 10-year effort. So anyway, that's their story, and they're really incredibly great, dedicated people. And thank you for asking for nominations, and I appreciate your work very much, Fab 413. Thank you. Bye-bye.
We got other responses from other listeners, including this one from Ellen Pater. Hello, in response to your request to let you know of local nonprofits worth publicizing for their amazing work on Giving Day, I'm sending you information about the Massachusetts Fair Housing Center, the oldest nonprofit in Massachusetts dedicated to eradicating housing discrimination. Thanks for considering us.
Ellen is the president of the board of that organization, but that just means that they believed in it so much that they wanted to help steer the organization.
Indeed.
They did say that a tenant was facing eviction for having an assistance animal, and this organization helped to work with their landlord to get them the permission. So that's the kind of thing that organization does, and is a valid organization to support this Giving Tuesday.
Another listener wrote in to say, hello, I listen and contribute to NEPM. Thanks very much. We appreciate that. Recently, I heard a solicitation about other organizations that they support on Giving Tuesday, and they wanted to mention an organization that has provided the space and facilities twice weekly for meals for 100 to 150 people these days, and has done continuously so since 1984 in Greenfield through thick and thin and pandemics. The Second Congregational Church in Greenfield.
Yeah, which we went right by on the march for the food bank. They asked if we would stop on the march there next time, but that is literally like 18 steps away from the end of our 43-mile journey. So they can certainly come out and meet us, and we thank you, Joe Carbone, for bringing that to our attention, and we think they're a great organization. I'll do one last one before we go back to pitching for ourselves this Giving Tuesday. It said, I heard you were looking for an organization that's fundraising this Giving Tuesday, and I'd like to recommend the Friends of the Greenfield Public Library. Oh. Thank you, Danielle, who is a former Friends of the Greenfield Public Library board member. We did a broadcast from the Greenfield Public Library.
When they opened.
It's a wonderful space, and we really we love what they've done there, and that's another excellent organization that you could consider supporting today. Tomorrow on the Fabulous 413, we're scoping out trees.
Extra pretty decorated trees you can win. We'll talk to the people organizing this year's Festival of Trees at the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield.
And speaking of trees, we'll head to Ioka Valley Farm in the Berkshires to find out about cutting one of our own for the Christmas season.
And Hampshire College astronomer Dr. Salman Hamid, Mr. Universe, will talk with us about Hampshire's most famous alum and his new PBS documentary, The American Buffalo.
Support public television so you can keep seeing things like Ken Burns' documentaries, and support public radio. Special thanks to Spouse, Happy Valley Guitar Orchestra, Marvin Gaye, Supertramp, REM, Rick Astley, and Parliament. Now, everyone who is involved with the Fabulous 413, we're going to en masse exit the studio and hand it over to our Sonia and John.
We'll see you tomorrow on the Fabulous 413.
And we have just about 5 minutes left in this hour for you to take advantage of a dollar-for-dollar match that is in effect right now. We're hoping that you will call and get your gift doubled on this Giving Tuesday. Joanne and David from South Hadley, matching contributions dollar for dollar. Give $50, we get $100 in matching money. $150 becomes $300 thanks to the match. It's Giving Tuesday. You've been meaning to support the station. Please get your gift doubled right now. The phone number 800-639-8850, NEPM.org. NPM.org. I'm John Sutton with Sonia Lee.
And it is Giving Tuesday on this National Day of Philanthropy. You can help build a fully funded public radio station. Fully funded means your community will have access to thorough, unbiased news reporting from NPR and the 88.5 NEPM newsroom. To donate, all you got to do is go to nepm.org, or you can give at 800-639-8850.
And if you make it a $10 a month contribution, we will be happy to thank you with an annual digital subscription to the New York Times. Unlimited access to the Times for just $10 a month or $120 all at once. And again, you can use this across multiple devices. You don't have to worry about an article limit for the New York Times. On Giving Tuesday, you support the station. You're getting NPR news. You're getting NEPM news. You're getting the New York Times. That's for $10 a month. When you make that contribution at 800-639-8850 or online at nepm.org.
And this is your opportunity to double the buying power of your contribution for the Fab 413 on this Giving Tuesday. Time is running out. We have just about 4 minutes left in this dollar for dollar match. And so if you rely on the Fab 413 to keep you entertained, make you laugh, and keep you informed, we ask you to please make a contribution. And that gift is going to be doubled right now. And we have our great, great friends of the radio station who have offered up this dollar for dollar match to encourage you to join with them on this Giving Tuesday. You can get your gift doubled at nepm.org or call 800-639-8850.
Here at 88.5 NEPM, we have decided that it is important to bring you more and different stories about life in Western Mass, about living in Western Mass, introducing you to the people in Western Mass that you otherwise might not know. And one of the ways we're doing that is through the fabulous 413. Monty and Khalees really connected to what's going on in our region and on the community level. You're hearing about what's happening in farming and agriculture. You're hearing what's happening in the arts. You're hearing what's happening in the towns and in the city. And again, just so many people that you would otherwise not have access to. If you're enjoying learning about how fabulous the 413 is, but also getting serious interviews and conversations that help you understand the issues we face, this program needs your support. We're asking you to support it on Giving Tuesday. That phone number, 800-639-8850, nepm.org.
And we are asking for participation today. It isn't about how much you can give. It is, if you rely on NEPM and you look forward to programs like the Fabulous 413, that you join in with the many others who've already given and make that contribution. Participate. This is a nonprofit public radio station. We rely on listener contributions. And so participation really is key. So we're hoping that you can make a contribution and join with others who've participated today on Giving Tuesday at nepm.org or call 800-639-8850.
In the next 2 minutes, we would love to match 5 contributions. Joanne and David from South Hadley doubling gifts on this Giving Tuesday. We're looking for 5 people to step up in just the next 2 minutes and give. The match works like this. Whatever you give, they give an equal amount to the station. Even if you give monthly, we get the annual amount. So $10 a month gets $120 in match money. But just 2 minutes to go in that match. 5 gifts to match. 800-639-8850, nepm.org.
And journalism isn't something we can take for granted, especially right now in many parts of the world. A free press simply